Do you guys see this right now? Y'all see it? Y'all see the plasma, the lightning that's going on right now? You will not believe where this is at. Wow, y'all see that? This is in Chicago, Illinois, at this place called Fermilab. Fermilab, if you have never heard of it, this is a mini CERN. The layout is just like CERN. So this is the layout for Fermilab in Chicago, Illinois. And this right here is a layout for CERN in Switzerland, you guys. Y'all see?
All over the world, same song. They put these temples all over the world in areas that exist on another dimension. Like Bermuda is certain places on Earth where your watch mess up and your compass mess up, because these are checkpoints where you are standing literally in the middle of in the same space and time of a booming metropolis on another dimension.
You may know about or remember one of the most famous experiments in the history of physics, the experiment of Thomas Young, the double-slit experiment. It was a real coup in physics and led many scientists into the study of...
This report looked at the 9 most commonly used high school history textbooks in the United States of America. Any coverage of the eugenics movement, the American Eugenics Society, Margaret Sanger, and Buck versus Bell are almost entirely absent. Because of the Supreme Court decision, Buck versus Bell, that allowed the state to mandate the sterilization of those labeled unfit to reproduce.
Welcome back to Highly Motivated, where we are addicted to the ministry of the saints. If you're watching this, the eclipse has come and gone, either eventfully or uneventfully. But either way, it got me thinking about possibilities and the double slit experiment, and I had a little bit of a revelation that I want to share with you. I think they may have proven God's existence way back then and don't even realize it. We've got a lot of things to go over. It's going to be a great show. Get comfortable. Let's get into it. Now, this next video takes it a step even further, saying that a lot of these ancient archaeological sites are just parts of a worldwide quantum computer.
These temples all over the world in areas that exist on another dimension. Like Bermuda is certain places on Earth where your watch mess up and your compass mess up, because these are checkpoints where you are standing literally in the middle of in the same space and time of a booming metropolis on another dimension. The past worlds is connected with our worlds. Some folks be traveling near the Bermuda Triangle. They just leave this earth, man. And you know why? Because in the ancient world, they started opening up stargates. And those stargates started sucking up things like at the North Pole, sailors would tell you there was points of no return where if your ship go beyond this joint, you're doomed.
Now, these are the types of portals that they think these quantum computers are using and accessing to get information. And imagine if this was available on a planetary scale. And just because a lot of these places are either hidden or in ruin does not make them inactive, right? Like it literally could be an active system that very few may still have knowledge on how to access, but they're just hiding it from us. Interestingly enough, while everyone is focused on CERN turning on, there's a collider in Chicago, Illinois that recently was also turned on.
Do you guys see this right now? Y'all see the plasma, the lightning that's going on right now? You will not believe where this is at. Wow, y'all see that? This is in Chicago, Illinois, at this place called Fermilab. Fermilab, if you have never heard of it, this is a mini CERN. The layout is just like CERN. So this is the layout for Fermilab in Chicago, Illinois. And this right here is the layout for CERN in Switzerland, you guys. Y'all see? Chicago, and then this is Switzerland. So the CERN in Chicago, Illinois just turned on their Large Hadron Collider as well, and this is what's going on over there, y'all. Check it out.
So this is going to be coming from the conspiracy theorist inside me right now, Max. Right where all that lightning's happening over there? It's happening right over Fermilab right now. Which is basically the miniature version of CERN, which I don't know how many times you've probably heard some crazy shit about CERN on the internet. But yeah, that's our mini one where they...
Look at that, like that plasma going crazy, y'all. You see what's going on? Stranger things. Y'all, I didn't even know about Fermilab. I didn't even know that we had a mini CERN in Chicago, Illinois. Were you guys aware of this? And now both of them are turning on. Y'all seen that just happened. That was yesterday. And then CERN is getting ready to turn on April 8th for the solar eclipse. What are they trying to do, y'all? There's so much going on around this solar eclipse, you guys. How come we don't know what's going on? I feel like we're literally still in the dark with what's up with the solar eclipse, you guys. How do you feel? But yeah, this...
I mean, considering by the time you guys watch this, it's going to be Tuesday. It's already happened. Now, I'm not sure what the connection, but it is interesting to note that when you put Fermilab into the gematria calculator, it equals 66 in simple gematria. And some of the other words that also equal 66 are Sandman, Moloch, Event, Black Goo, Sodom, Curse, Abyss, and Anubis. Right away, I'm sure you can see some interesting connections with those words. Now we're going to move on to the double slit experiment and why I feel they proved God's existence. Now, real quick, before we get into my thoughts, we're going to play this video that describes the experiment just in case any of you need a refresher.
You may know about or remember one of the most famous experiments in the history of physics, the experiment of Thomas Young, the double slit experiment. It was a real coup in physics and led many scientists into the study of quantum mechanics. If you throw solid balls at a shield with a slit cut into it, a single diffuse strip designating the strike points will appear on the screen behind the shield. If there are two slits in the shield, then there will be two strips. But how will waves behave if aimed at the shield? They will pass through the slot and spread out. The greatest impact of the waves will be in the line of the slit, as in the case with the balls. But if you add a second slit, everything changes. A number of alternating interference strips will appear on the projection screen. And when we shine light on the two strips, this is exactly what happens. And this is how Mr. Young proved the wave theory of light. If light were corpuscular, like a particle, instead of wave-like, it would behave like the balls, and the screen would show two strips of light corresponding to the two slits. That didn't happen. Later, it turned out that electrons and protons behave exactly the same way, showing that they also seem to exist as waves and not as points. There was one assumption that perhaps light and the others were particles and that somehow the particles bumped into each other and flew apart. So, to test this, physicists decided to shoot electrons at the target one by one, single file. And what do you think happened? The strangest thing imaginable. The interference pattern still appeared on the screen. It seemed that the single electrons somehow divided into two waves, passed through both slits, then interfered with themselves. Impossible. So physicists tried to find out through which gap the electron actually passes. They installed measuring instruments to check this. Another seeming impossibility occurred. The electrons stopped behaving like waves and began acting like particles, and left a trace on the screen of two distinct strips with no interference. They had to admit something completely mind-blowing, that the fact of our observation or measurement destroyed the wave function of the photons, causing them to become like points, corpuscular. The electron, under the influence of observation, behaved like a particle, flying through one slit and not through two. Interpretations. Well, it certainly looks like the work of a game engine, doesn't it? This might make you think that our world is running like a game on a computer. The computer's power is not enough to calculate the motion of each and every particle, so it uses a simplified model and applies precise calculations only if an observer needs to look at the particle, so as not to break the illusion of the reality of the world for the observer.
The Word of God specifically says that with God, all things are possible. So hear me out. What if when they think there is no observer, the observer is actually our God, our Lord, Jesus Christ, and that is why all possibilities exist. And then once we, our limited carnal selves, look and observe, it then becomes either the decision is made or the decision is not made. So there's only two options all of a sudden. What do you guys think? Do you think that they proved the existence of God or not? This video was caught last Tuesday, April 2nd in Nashville, Tennessee.
What?
What?
What was that? You guys.
Okay, so I thought it was fake until I heard that girl in the background freaking out. That is a genuine reaction.
I got that.
The moon was changing on and off from red to green. Everyone on the street was outside. Okay.
What was that? You guys.
The girl in the back kills me.
I got that.
What would cause that?
What was that?
It almost looks like they're shooting something at it, or is something emitting out of it? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? I don't think it's fake, honestly. I think this is a real video, but I have no idea what would cause a phenomenon like that. Does it have something to do with these colliders that are on? The woman in this video claims that she has interdimensional aliens, as she calls them, and portals in her yard, and that she has video of these creatures.
How you doing?
Not good.
What's going on?
Okay, Jeremiah, come out here.
That was the night I called the police. We saw their arrival. It was in a teardrop-shaped balloon. It was humongous. It was across the street, hovering, 2 frequency sounds coming from it. It moved across the street and it vanished. Later that night, these appeared at the back of my yard. Now, I'm going to zoom in. For those of you who are saying people are faking this alien stuff, you guys, my story is real. My encounters are real. They came to my neighborhood in 2021, and it's just been non-stop. 3 houses they arrived to. Ours was the first house, couple houses down, and then further down the road, because we heard the doorbell ring. I don't have a doorbell. It was some type of signal they gave that they were there. You understand what I'm saying? This is my security camera, you guys, picking this shit up. For those of you who are saying you don't understand what ETs are and extraterrestrials and interdimensionals, you watch my videos and you go, I don't see anything. because you don't know what they look like. They have come in so many shapes, sizes, forms, colors. Actual creatures have come in my house. Some stood as short as 2 feet, some as tall as 9 feet. I've been taken up on a craft by humanoids, you guys. I call them humanoids because I thought they were human. But above their top lip, it's split open. Now, if you look at the front of that tree, you guys, that is where the portal is at.
Oh, you see that light
The
coming
people
out?
that was up on that ship, they were like doing something at that tree. And when they wanted to communicate with me, that whole front of that tree, it would turn into their face. And they would talk to me telepathically. This is a security camera footage. It's not been edited. It's not been none of that. I have the original of everything. So what happened in Miami? What happened in Las Vegas? That shit is real. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not real. They are here. The next clip you're about to see, I recorded with my cell phone. This is before I even got the security cameras. That was the day they arrived. That's not a helicopter. That's not lightning. They were coming down from that light. I recorded it. This was the first thing my security, once I installed my security cameras, the first thing it captured.
Oh, you see that?
Now, if that was a speck, a bug, now y'all saw that shoot straight up, right? From that, that's a portal right there in my driveway. Now, why would the cat look back if that was something on the camera lens? The cat saw it coming. Now, y'all see that shit shooting up from that portal, right? What is that green light right there?
Yeah, what is that?
That right there. So many of y'all. Those are planes she's recording. Those are helicopters. That is their ships. They're all up in my trees, and they go straight up into the sky. You guys, I took a collection of my best videos, and I put it together for you guys. So you don't have to watch hundreds of videos. This is part 1. Now I'm going to give you guys part 2. So make sure you...
If you want to see more of her videos, Divine Pisces 444 is the channel name on TikTok. The part of this video that freaked me out the most is where the light shines across. I mean, aside from the portal that literally lights up in front of that tree, the line that shines across the sky. When I was a child, very young, like 3 years old, and I remember it vividly, there was a light in my room that did that exact thing. And it kept going around and around and around. And obviously I got up and I freaked out and I ran into my mom's room, but I've never seen anything that looked even comparable until this video. What do you guys think? She sounds like she's dead ass serious. Let me know your thoughts down below.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Crazy. Dangerous.
This next video comes from a guy who likes to film elementals and cryptids in the woods.
This dude just poked out of this tree and
oh wow.
I mean, there's nothing normal out here. I mean, it looks like Coolio or something. Look at this.
Do you guys see the eyes and the nose?
Look at his pupils.
Right. He's just like, pause. He's
I'm
like,
on my way
if
out.
I don't
I'm
move,
walking
he
out.
won't see me. Right?
I gotta get the hell out of here.
Staring him down, dude.
But I mean, What the fuck? How's it going?
What's up?
Did that left side move? Like its hair or something out there?
You can almost see another face in there
It's morphing
too,
into
right?
something else right now. Can I leave you an apple? That hair is growing.
Wow. And you know what? I think that's how elementals work, right? They can blend in with the surroundings. So it's one of those things like if you aren't looking, you're not going to see it. Look at him. Like that thing has like an expression
Narnia
on his face.
Some kind of Rick James.
But almost like, okay, to the right, it looks like there's
an eye in
another
between.
face.
There's a face in between the two trees there on the right. What's your name? Got it.
I mean, he's almost kind of cute. What do you guys think? Do you think it's like some sort of, what do they call it, periodola or whatever? Or is this an elemental poking out of the tree, trying not to be seen? Because he literally looks like he's froze. Like, I mean, like he's not going to move until that guy leaves and stops filming him. Wow. I've never really looked at this assassination video closely, but once you see it, they're right.
Once you see it.
It looks like a being with a weapon materializes out of thin air. What the heck? What do you guys think of this? Have you seen this before? What kind of technology or witchcraft, should I say, did they have back then that would make something like this possible? Our cameras today really do seem to pick up a lot of things that our eyes do not.
This photo was taken by hikers in Bolivia. Initially, it just looks like an attractive shot of the surrounding area, but something odd can be spotted on the other side of the lake. Zooming in closer, there appears to be a semi-transparent creature walking along the edge of the water. We can see that the creature resembles the gray alien, with elongated arms and legs, a rounded head, with large bulbous eyes. The creature seems to be semi-transparent and doesn't have a reflection, so is this some kind of interdimensional creature, or just an elaborate hoax?
Here's the thing, they can't all be real, but they also can't all be fake either. We know these beings exist.
Remember, our phones are black mirrors, and using this technology drains our body of the electricity, the positive electricity that's inside of us. This is dirty electricity, especially when we're holding it in our hand or next to our face. So I have two phones now. I carry one phone where people have my number, but my other phone, people don't have this number, but I'm still connected to the internet, to YouTube and my learning instruments. This helps you avoid quantum entanglement because your cell is getting entangled with your cell phone, right? And it's changing your self So you have to step away from the phones, step away from the technology, turn off and unplug the Wi-Fi router at least every night. The more you do this, the more the energy, the electricity as well that's in the air, because that's just the way that it works, the more it's going to be re-delivered back into your body, the more you need to also go outside and start. Because you're already so busy handling 5 or 10 other things that you have to do. So when we put our phone on airplane mode, we allow those worries that other people have and the worries that we have as well that other people try to talk to us about. We allow those worries to go away at least for an hour, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 hours at least, trying to get some rest. That's the best time, at least probably the only time that you guys aren't really on your phones. So step away from the phones and watch your health get back to you.
You know, I don't think very many people realize how much stress can come from feeling like you're available to everyone at every hour of the day. And so it is important to set that boundary that people are going to know, hey, if I text you, it might take me a little bit of time to get back to you. It doesn't mean that I don't care about you. It means that I care about me a lot too. I can't say a whole lot about this video, and I think you guys will realize why once you read her note. I believe that we all know exactly what happened to her, and it's absolutely disgusting. And what's worse is there are still people out here that are like, no, that it's not true. Conspiracy theorists. Do you want to tell her how untrue it is? Do you want to tell her that that's not why she's like this today? This next story is nothing short of a miracle.
Little Gabriel is alive and well thanks to his mother's instincts and a medical breakthrough that can shut down an abortion. Andrea Minikini was studying nursing when she got the news she was pregnant. Reluctantly, she and her boyfriend decided to abort their baby.
Andrea was unsettled when she came to this clinic to get an abortion, but immediately after she swallowed the pill, she regretted what she had done.
I ran out and actually started trying to throw up, but nothing would come out, nothing.
On a mission to save her baby, Andrea called several obstetricians and even went to her local emergency room. Doctors repeatedly told her there was no way out and that she would need to take the second abortion pill within 24 hours. After 2 sleepless nights, Andrea's mom discovered the abortion reversal hotline and a local doctor who said she might be able to help. The doctor found the baby's heartbeat and a break in Andrea's placenta.
The baby had almost, instead of going towards it, he had gone away from it and he had curled up in a little ball.
The doctor immediately began the reversal process. It involves flooding a woman's body with progesterone, the pregnancy hormone. It blocks the deadly effects of mifepristone, found in the abortion pill RU486.
These are hormones that essentially the woman's body has in it anyway, and we're just supplementing that.
Dr. Matt Harrison created the protocol 9 years ago when a patient came to him soon after taking the first dosage of RU486.
And she said, I will do whatever it takes to save my baby. And that was just such a powerful message coming from her. Someone who had just taken a medication to end their baby's life, realized immediately that she had done something that she didn't want to do. And I was like, you know what? I have no idea what to do. This is not something that they teach you in medical school. This is not, they don't give you an antidote to abortions.
Harrison's discovery takes advantage of a 2-day gap between the taking of the first and second abortion pills. The reversal must begin within 3 days of taking the first pill and before taking the second. So far, it has helped 87 mothers deliver healthy babies and another 74 who are expecting. But not everyone succeeds. about 40% have failed in their hope of reversing their abortion. Dr. Lewis Lipscomb has tried 4 times and says it can be tense.
It's a bit nerve-wracking because we're all on pins and needles just hoping that the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to go smoothly for her.
The question of birth defects is a tough one. So far, all the moms who have successfully gone through the process have delivered healthy children. In the meantime, they expect Planned Parenthood and other abortion supporters to push back against the life-saving technique.
They have a very powerful machine out there that will make fun of this, that will attack it, say that it's junk science, say that it's junk medicine, say that it's not FDA approved. They'll do whatever they can to try to combat it.
Father Frank Pavone, the National Director of Priests for Life, is working with Dr. Harrison to raise awareness by distributing reversal kits to healthcare workers and pro-life advocates.
The technique gives us hope. The reversal technique gives us hope that, first of all, we can say to her, it's not too late. We can save your baby.
To help them to turn the ship around and to love them, regardless of what they did yesterday, and really to help them to learn to love their baby is very exciting.
Today, little Gabriel and his mom are thriving thanks to family support and a life-saving procedure that could potentially help millions of other women reverse a life-altering decision. Heather Sells, CBN News.
They've worked really hard to push the idea that it's not a life. But you don't hear about stories like this where the woman takes the first part and completely regrets it. You don't hear about the many women who will tell you years and years and years go by and you will never, ever, ever forget those children. And there will come a day where you regret your decision. I don't care who you are, it's your child. And I am not talking as someone who does not know from personal experience. And you wonder why the general consensus is that people generally don't like cops.
I said, if you find any money, I come up missing $5 at the hospital. I kid you not. And I damn sure would like to have it back.
Odom continues to chat with the deputy standing with her as Officer Wester goes to the other side of the car and searches the passenger side. Odom is relaxed and carefree because she thinks this is a routine stop.
Right, 'cause
Little did she know what was about to happen next.
She knows she doesn't have anything. Oh, and there it is. 2558. Piece of trash.
At 5 minutes 13 seconds, you can see the cop rearranging the woman's stuff in the passenger seat.
He literally just took that spoon, put something on it, and then set it back down. Like, there's a special place in hell for people like this.
This is when he intentionally planted methamphetamine in Odom's spoon, which she used for eating yogurt. Here is what happened when Officer Wester decided to confront Odom about this.
It is yogurt, sir.
How much?
It's yogurt. No, sir.
So, like, he knows exactly what he just did. And he's going to play it. Like, where's the Oscar for this dude? Like, what?
I'm not going to ask you.
No, sir.
I'm not going to ask you any questions. I'm going to read you your rights first, okay?
Right,
So
I'm
just
going to
hang
read you
out
your rights.
What is it?
I have an idea. We're going to test it, though, okay?
Oh, I have an idea because I stuck
Making
it
a
there.
phone call. What? She's calling her daughter.
Is that right?
Do you have anything on you, Miss Hogan?
I said I didn't have anything on me in this truck.
Oh, okay, but do you have anything on your person is what
I
I'm
have
asking?
nothing on me to my knowledge at all.
All right.
And I'm not trying to be ugly.
It did return presumptive positive for methamphetamine, okay? Of course it did. Just letting you know, okay?
Monkey, look, I just got pulled over in Cottondale, all right? I had went down to see George because I had a bad check that was given to me by somebody who was living at 8 Dots. I come through the light, I get pulled over. All right, the deputy asked if he could search my truck. I told him, yes, he may search my truck. I'm sitting on the pocket right now. He goes in the passenger side. He sees, I don't know, God knows what. He goes around to the other side, what's going on open, and he comes back with a spoon, which is what I use to eat my yogurt with. And in the
that he planted here. Now, in this case, luckily, the body cam caught this, but how many times do you think a situation like this goes down where the officer is not caught? And even still, she gets a lawsuit. Who has to pay? It's the taxpayers. It's not the cop. So they make the bad decisions and the people pay for it. We have time for one more video today, and this gentleman is speaking on little known history of the United States that is literally not even taught in schools anymore.
Openly admitted that he studied the laws, eugenics laws on the books in America, like Buck versus Bell in 1927, which upheld Virginia's mandated sterilization law of those labeled unfit to reproduce. Did you know? Who's heard of Buck versus Bell, by the way? See? Isn't that crazy? It's one of the most atrocious, controversial Supreme Court decisions, right up there with Dred Scott. The hidden history of the secular moral revolution. I found a report from 2020 the other day. I'm going to include references to this. By the way, I have a book coming out called The 1916 Project. So for the nerds who want to go deeper, don't worry. It'll have more than the film. This report looked at the 9 most commonly used high school history textbooks in the United States of America. Any coverage of the eugenics movement, the American Eugenics Society, Margaret Sanger, and Buck versus Bell are almost entirely absent.
And we know who loves Margaret Sanger. Ms. Clinton.
Because of the Supreme Court decision, Buck versus Bell, that allowed the state to mandate the sterilization of those labeled unfit to reproduce, over 70,000 people were forcibly sterilized between California and New York in the next 15 years. Meaning forcibly sterilized. Like, we're tying your tubes or snip, snip. You don't get to have kids because you're bad stock. You have bad genes. Margaret Sanger celebrated the Buck versus Bell decision when it was decided. At the Nuremberg trials, guys, the Nazis in their defense said, but you guys had Buck versus Bell that allowed the state to mandate the sterilization of those considered a threat to the gene pool. Guys, the Nazis in their defense cited our Supreme Court decision, which Margaret Sanger celebrated when it was decided in 1927. Planned Parenthood isn't just part of the eugenics movement. They are the eugenics movement.
That's right.
Controlling population, breeding the fit, preventing the unfit from reproducing. So her Negro Project in 1939 was an attempt to get black faces to be the front of the propaganda and putting, which is today, by the way, 80% of their Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities within walking distance of majority black neighborhoods. As it was in 1939, so it is today. This was intentional. She had someone on her payroll for the Negro Project. It was a Negro Project director. And I've got one of their quotes. You have to dig for this stuff. And I found it. Here's what someone on Margaret Sanger's payroll for the Negro Project said. There is a great danger that we will fail because the Negroes think that this is a plan for their extermination. Hence, let's appear to let the colored run it. Let's appear to let the colored run. Which is why today, if you walk into a Planned Parenthood clinic in a black neighborhood, there will be a black man or woman sitting at the front desk to welcome you in. So the mother, whose black unborn child Planned Parenthood has assigned dollar signs to, will feel more comfortable when they see someone who looks like them. Hitler actually...
Atrocious. So first came Planned Parenthood, and then the music industry decided to create rap to degrade the culture and basically handed it to them and said, hey, this is your culture. You guys shoot people and rob things and sell drugs and gangbang. They said, this is who you are. And unfortunately, a lot of people just seem to have accepted that. One thing I wanted to touch on is a couple misconceptions about what happens when you are free from sin and you are saved. A lot of people think that if you're saved, that you're not going to want to sin anymore and you're never going to be tempted or do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing. And that is not what it means to be free from sin. Christ reconciled everything in this world to himself. He's not imputing sin. And that means that whether you sin or not, if you have Christ in you, all he's ever going to see is himself. God knew that there was going to come a time where sin was so intertwined and embedded into our daily life that the only way to save us was to make it so it didn't count. Now, that's not to say that, oh, you can just do whatever you want, because when someone is saved, we are striving not to sin. Yes, we mess up sometimes, but we don't go around saying, oh, I'm saved, I can do whatever I want. That's literally frustrating the grace of God. Does that make sense? So in Romans, Paul, he illustrates the conflict between our two natures really well. One thing I wanted to touch on is a couple misconceptions about what happens when you are free from sin and you are saved. A lot of people think that if you're saved, that you're not going to want to sin anymore and you're never going to be tempted or do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing. And that is not what it means to be free from sin. Christ reconciled everything in this world to himself. He's not imputing sin. And that means that whether you sin or not, if you have Christ in you, all he's ever going to see is himself. God knew that there was going to come a time where sin was so intertwined and embedded into our daily life that the only way to save us was to make it so it didn't count. Now, that's not to say that, oh, you can just do whatever you want, because when someone is saved, we are striving not to sin. Yes, we mess up sometimes, but we don't go around saying, oh, I'm saved, I can do whatever I want. That's literally frustrating the grace of God. Does that make sense? So in Romans, Paul, he illustrates the conflict between our two natures really well. Romans chapter 7, starting in verse 14. I'm going to read all of it. It's a little bit long, but it's really pertinent to today and what goes on in a believer. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is good. Now then it is no more I who do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now, if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but the sin that dwelleth in me. I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me, for I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then with the mind I myself serve the law of God, but with the flesh the law of sin. Sin is condemned to our flesh, and he is not imputing sin. Why? Because he took it out of the way. He does not want us focusing on sin. Our flesh is sinful, and it will be until we are caught up and we're in the heavenly kingdom. That is when we will be free of sin. So what we need to be focusing on today is our relationship with Christ. Not, am I sinning? oh no, is this wrong? Is this wrong? How is your heart? Christ knows your soul. The Holy Spirit resides in you, so he knows what you want and what you need and how you're thinking and how you're feeling before a word ever even comes out of your mouth. I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will see you guys very soon. Until next time, stay prayed up and stay highly motivated.